22 months, 19 lawyers, approximately 40 FBI agents, a total cost of more than $25 million. Nothing to sneeze at, right? More than 2,800 subpoenas, nearly 500 search warrants, an estimated 500 witnesses, and more than 230 orders for communication records. And the final answer, no collusion. So what set this whole thing off to begin with then? Joining me right now is former Trump 2016 campaign advisor, Michael Caputo. Michael, good to have you back on the show. A lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of money was put into this. A lot of people's lives were highly disturbed, including your own, sir, by all of this, and they come up with no collusion. What do you think really happened? Why did they start this investigation to begin with?
And they sure ended up with a whole lot of nothing, didn't they, Trish? No collusion, no obstruction. And I'm telling you, right now, we watch it. You can almost hear it if you listen closely. They are flipping the script, as you and I talked about the other day. They're flipping the script from collusion to obstruction. They couldn't say anything else but Russia, Russia, Russia for 2 years. And about a week from now, we're never going to hear about Russia again. It's going to be all about these bogus charges of obstruction. And Representative Nadler, the chairman of the House Judiciary, is going to switch right off of collusion onto obstruction and try and dance all the way to impeachment with these bogus obstruction charges. This kind of breadcrumbs that we all knew that the Democrats on the Mueller investigation were going to leave to try to lead them to some kind of possible impeachment process.
It's mind-boggling,
and this all started,
so
as you know, with dirty cops who didn't like what they were hearing from the Republican candidate, who got involved in something they never should have, with a perverse sense of right and wrong, seeing themselves as the arbiters of the truth. So they bent the truth, they broke the law, and they spied upon the Republican candidate for president of the United States.
So here's my question, though, in all of this. You know, it's one thing if you have legitimate concerns. If you actually believed, right, that Vladimir Putin had Donald Trump on a string and he was effectively a puppet or an agent of Vladimir Putin, as, well, John Brennan has tried to tell us, former head of the CIA under President Obama. Now, if you really and truly had evidence that was leading you to that conclusion, I'm not just talking more of a gut feeling, but legitimate evidence, then you'd say, okay, you know, maybe we need to open this up and do some digging. But if you're doing this just because you don't like the guy and he doesn't play by the same set of rules that you play by, and I'm talking about the right and the left, there are a lot of people that did not like Donald Trump, as you well know, sir. If it's just because you don't like him, that does not give you the right to come up with a bunch of phony charges, a so-called dirty dossier that was never verified, and use that as a reason to try and undo the will of the American people.
No doubt, and those you see the compliant media, the resistance media out there now trying to nail down the tent pegs of the final narrative here. That this all started at the end of July after George Papadopoulos' conversation earlier in the year, and Alexander Downer of Australia reported it to the State Department, and it all started from there. Bull. That's absolute lies. We knew things were going on months and months before. They were already trying to thwart Donald Trump in 2015. I know that they came after me in May of 2016. You know, we've talked about this before, Trish.
I know.
I was in this report today, a better part of a page about this meeting or the telephone call that I had with this guy Henry Greenberg, and they went through it for about 3-4 paragraphs. Two things missing from it. Number one, not once in that entire part of the report today did they mention that Henry Greenberg was on the FBI payroll when he called me up. And nowhere in that report did they mention that Henry Greenberg lied and told the FBI, or the Mueller investigation apparently, that I was at the meeting that he had with Roger Stone. A complete lie that the Mueller investigation knew, because they showed me the text that proved that I was in Trump Tower when all that went down. See,
were they trying
if they're going to lie about me,
were they trying to like put those breadcrumbs out to try and frame you, to try and frame the campaign?
I don't know. I got to tell you this. I know that they have not liked me talking about my interview since the day I left out of that building.
Wow.
They have, been frustrated with me. I saw the prosecutor who interrogated me at Roger Stone's hearing in Florida, and he nearly flipped his lid. These guys are really upset that I won't shut up and stay off of television. I think they didn't. They omitted and lied through omission about their guy, an FBI informant, coming to me and lying about the fact that I was in this meeting. They did that for retribution. But here's the thing. I'm a marginal player in this, Trish.
Yeah.
If they did that to a guy who's on the margin, lied through their teeth in this report to a guy on the margin, what kind of chicanery were they up to? What kind of mischievous stuff were they doing in the other 400 pages of this report?
So do you think that this was a political sort of hatchet job, that they were just out to get him and that there was no real there? They knew all along there was no there, but they spun this tale all in an attempt to take down the person that American citizens elected?
Right. I think Dan Bongino has this right. I think it was a couple of phases, right? The first phase was the intelligence phase when they were plumbing the depths of the NSA database illegally. They were unmasking people illegally all the way through the summer of 2016. And then the president won, right? They needed the insurance policy, so they started setting up Michael Flynn, set him up, got the president fired Comey, and then of course they started this investigation all along to set the president up for impeachment.
Michael,
that's what it has always been about. They were never going to get him.
Okay,
and they
thank
knew
you.
it.